Hey everyone, hope you're all doing good today. I have a deck for you called Mono Black Berserker. We're going to use the black colors and the Bloodsky Berserker in this deck. And this is just a fresh coming off brew that you're going to be witnessing right here. I have been really struggling with trying to make the Mono Black work with the Bloodsky Berserker. But I think this has finally achieved all the necessary results, and I'm sure that if you play this deck, you will ladder up. It will be, it will definitely happen for you. So that is the reasoning why I'm putting this video. It's probably taken me about 3 or 4 sessions to really make this deck work out, and I had the Lurrus in the companion and then out of the companion, and I definitely think that it's in the companion is going to be the best setup to work with the Bloodsky Berserker. People have asked, well, why not Agadeem's Awakening? Why not Hateful Eidolon? Those seem like no-brainers for a mono black build, and the reasoning is because Hateful Eidolon needs a lot of support from bigger creatures, especially like to deal with Sultai Ultimatum. Like Rankle is a good one. I've seen the Eradicator Valkyrie using that deck, that build, and we really just want the triggers for the Bloodsky Berserker, so we're not going to really be playing too many 3 CMC cards at all. The only one we're going to be playing is the Lurrus and the Companion, and 1 copy of Call the Death Dweller. We'll slot that in. Those will be the only 3 casting cost cards in our deck, and really we're just going for our triggers for the Bloodsky. We really want to support that card as much as possible. So Lurrus, if you're not familiar with that card, is a 3-cost card, and you can bring back creatures that are 2, or even enchantments that are 2 costing cast or less from your graveyard. So we're definitely attempting to use our graveyard to the max potential that we can throughout these games. So I hope you enjoy the games. Let's get started. Alright, so we're pretty much solid. We don't have any 1-drops to play, but we have 3 lands in our hands, so we're definitely off to a pretty good start, and on the play is not bad either. We'll see. It really depends on what kind of opening, what we're going to be playing next. Okay, so we're definitely going to want to get a creature out there. Triton out. So what's great about this deck is putting cards into your graveyard and being able to play them with cards like Call of the Death Dweller and your Lurrus. That's definitely a key to this deck, and that's why we play 4 copies of the Mire Triton. Basically, we're just trying to get cards in our graveyards, sort of acting like another hand that you can play. This is a pretty decent trade, I thought. It wasn't too bad. That card can really start building upon itself. It's a good 1-drop opener. So I don't have any triggers for my Bloodsky at this time, so just went in their hand. I was able to get a showdown. You have to be kind of careful with the Bloodsky Berserker, the Giant Killer. The triggers get out of control, then you can have a kind of an issue with that, because the Giant Killer can hit anything that's over 4 power, and the Bloodsky Berserker tends to get over 4 power pretty easily. So definitely be treading carefully with that. So we just played the Bloodsky Berserker and got it to a 3/3, put him on Mire's Grasp on the Bloodstruck Beast. So we're definitely thinking about getting Lurrus into our opener, and possibly bringing back some Mire Triton and getting some cards in our graveyard. So we go from 1 to go pretty wide with their 1/1s. This is definitely a Toski deck. And Mono Black tends to do very well against those cards. So again, we're just keeping the Bloodsky Berserker out of the harm's way of the giant killer. And this is an easy block here. We're in a good spot now with the Luris and the they ended up going and taking out the Bloodsky Berserker. It's fine. I have abilities to take back cards with the Luris. The Luris is going to come in very handy right now. And I'll definitely get the Mire Triton going here. Unless, of course, that's the best choice, just to kill the Bone Crusher, actually. It's fine. Definitely want to keep on getting cards in the graveyard though, eventually with the Mire Triton. Okay, want to see some more cards, maybe you can get something nice in there. Yeah, it's important to kill the giant killer at this time. The giant killer is kind of brutal with the ability to tap down creatures, and they have plenty of mana to just keep cards tapped down. So they find another Bone Crusher. It's a nice little top for them. No reason to block there. It's just a terrible trade. Alright. We're gonna exercise our options. We're gonna get the Luris first. Definitely kill the Bone Crusher first. And Agadeem Vessel. So at this point, if they do get another Bone Crusher, we're gonna be in a pretty bad spot. But anything can happen at this time. They already went through 2 Bone Crushers, so if they'd have to get another one, that'd be pretty lucky. And at this time, we're just gonna get as much value on the board as possible. So I'm gonna get our Bloodsky's going, and I'm gonna get going with the Agadeem Vessel. Get a little life there. I'm not gonna block because I'll just bring it back as a 5/5. And this is just going to get better and better for us. We're going to get our triggers for our Bloodsky, and this game is going to be over with. I'm just going to get more value on the board, more cards in the graveyard. This looks like the first hit of the game for us. You know, I noticed this deck is very good against Night Adventures and Rogues. It's really good too. Sultai Ultimatum is actually probably not such a bad matchup now. Now that I've added in the Acquisitions Experts and the Agonized Remorse and the Duress, and also a couple more clunky cards, really lean this deck out, and definitely made it playable for Standard. You're definitely going to have a good time with this deck. I'm sure of that. So this is just a good game right here. It's just way too much value on the board. You know, I really like the Night Adventure. I like the Sentinel. I love that card. Giant Killer. You know what they're missing from that game? The Innkeeper. That is such a key card from that in that deck to just draw mass cards. And the Clarion Spirit. It's a cool card too. I like that card. Yeah, it's been rough trying to brew this deck. I hadn't made any progress in ladder, and I've played it probably for the last 4 days. I knew it could be good. I knew the Bloodsky Berserker. I made an Orzhov Berserker deck earlier in the season, and I was ripping through Platinum, like no problem. And in other decks that I've brewed, just over the course of starting making these videos and posting my decks on Aetherhub, the brews didn't take this long to be good. This was a real effort to find the right combination of cards, to really work with the Bloodsky Berserker, and it was totally worth it. This deck is great. You know, and I just want to like even just go back and play it more because I know this thing could rank up extremely quickly. I know we're late in the season, and perhaps the players aren't as good as the ones that already passed by, but I do feel like this deck could really have something to say. It could definitely rank you up. And it's really just about keeping it as simple as possible. And really, that's what it's all about. It seems like one of those games where they're just going to have all the answers. I mean, yeah, why not? Like a Heartless Act right there, or an Eliminate. Definitely keeps the pressure on. They weren't able to play their Thought Thief. Yeah. Definitely gonna be trying to get that land drop. Very important here. A good use of village rights. Get our land. So they go out and flash in their Thought Thief here, most likely. And look at that. They are so screwed, right? Two lands. That's all they have. 2 lands, man. Look at all the value in my hand. Yeah, definitely. I think that's a good move. I have a vessel in the graveyard too. Probably more stuff to go in there too. Could get really going with this. Yeah, you could duress prior, but I wanted just to definitely get going this the vessel. So you have to expect it, like, give the rogue 2 cards, they'll find it in the story. It's like kind of something you should expect. So now they just have 5 cards in their hand. It's kind of obnoxious. But that's what you're playing against, that's what the variants that you're playing against. And now they have Aluris, and now they have like unlimited value. It's really unfortunate there. If I went in for a duress, they still would have been able to flash it in, so not a big deal. in that front. Can't really play around it. Crazy wild demon. Got a couple more demon tokens to go through here. Probably a good idea. You can probably do merits for a couple different things here. Probably want to get the 5/5 out though. Oh yes, of course I could kill the Lyris as well. That would probably be the ideal play. I know I don't like the idea of milling myself against rogues, but sometimes you just gotta get another piece on the board. So you think if they keep playing the Lyris, I can just keep dead waiting it. Yeah, really unfortunate the way this game has turned. Probably should have played my swamp first, but it's fine. Probably should have scooped by now. I don't really think there's a chance I can really come back in this one. That's kind of a card. We could definitely gain back the Lyris. Probably need the demon token. But if they find another end of the story, well, we'll lose. I mean, I had a really good top deck, so why not? Yeah, why not? Of course. So, I think this game kind of illustrates that this mono black deck will dominate rogues. It will just like turn them upside down. It'll literally eat them for breakfast. I'm not concerned about like having the rogue player down to 2 lands and a Thought Thief on the board and drawing twice and finding it into the story. Really, it's just not like something I'm really concerned about. And I was looking through their deck through 32 cards. They also had 3 Thought Thieves and 3 Enforcers on the board. So you can see that, yeah, the Shuffler is fine. Ridiculous. Where are the rest of their deck? What else is in their deck? They already played all the good stuff. It's all on the bottom. It was funny rewatching that game because when it's funny to see like the progression of that, how they really were crippled there with 2 lands and a Thought Thief, and they turned it around like instantly. It's Someone did suggest perhaps putting in Agadeem's Awakening or two in this deck, and I'm not too opposed to it. Looking now back at the replay, I am kind of concerned about a castle locked lane and Agadeem openings, like 2 land openings of those 2 cards, because they don't fit together and they just mess with the tempo. And I'm also concerned about losing 3 life against like really fast tempo decks like mono red. I don't know if it's worth it to be playing Agadeem's Awakening. So you can see this hand that we have right here be really excellent against like a creature deck. I'd be getting my triggers for the Bloodsky Berserker. But for now, we're going to just be content with getting our lures ready. And we'll get to play our demon token. It's a really good start, you know. Turn 4, you have an 8/7 in stats on the board. It's kind of what we're looking for, especially against a control deck. I think that's exactly what we're looking for. Sultai Ultimatum, your favorite deck, everybody. Isn't it just glorious, this deck? Sultai Ultimatum. Alright, what is he gonna go for? You know, it's kind of interesting to go for the demon token there, because you know I can just get like infinite value from the Berserker and Luris triggers. But maybe they never played this kind of deck before. It is kind of a mysterious one. Oh my god. Going in your hand would be pretty dank for them right now. Go off on my Luris. I am really like kind of shutting the water right now. I mean they have a Vorinclex in their hand, so I mean that's good for the blood cheaters, but and again not going for the Luris. You know, I just bring them back. Take a look inside, see what's going on there. So they'll be able to play the Kiora, Best of Sea God. The extinction vents hit half of my creatures, so we're gonna get rid of the Kiora. I think that's kind of a headache for us. Man, they really had a lot of those enchantments. I have a really nice Sultai Ultimatum deck, but I haven't seen anybody really play the variation. I played Great Henge with Vanquist Gargoyle in it. It's fantastic. So people will catch on to that eventually. So, the Vorinclex is coming, we think. I mean, they're going to have to bring it out eventually, right? What they really need is just like an ultimatum. Sometimes you don't get an ultimatum, sometimes they get taken from you. And then you can't play them. That's why I wised up and I've started to play 3 Duresses, 4 Agonizing Remorse, and 3 Acquired Tacticians. Which also works with the Guild Belief and Guild Guild Thief Enforcer, which is a rogue. They're both rogues, so come on now. Hateful Eidolon, I mean, eat your heart out. I'm gonna take you down. This is gonna be the new thing. I don't think Hateful Eidolon can beat Sentai. Unless they figure out how to put some duresses and other things in their deck. I just don't know. So they left mana open for their Haven. I don't like to see that, I'll tell you that. And then we'll get our Enforcer. Over a card, we want to put another attacker on board for lethal next turn. And then we're going with our Triton. And if they choose to block, then they will lose their Haven, which is fine. Obviously they want to get a Shadow's Verdict at this time. That would be GG for me. Unless we could top the Guild Enforcer, which would be kind of strange. So that was the victory. I'm telling you all, this deck has been such a labor. I have not made any progress. Like, I've been up and down, up and down. I've never had this much difficulty ever going up in ladder. In general, like, the decks are all good in ladder right now. So it's been hard to ladder up anyways. It would have been tougher to get to Mythic this season. Just because it seems like all the decks are really good. But this deck is definitely ready. It's definitely had the hours and the sweat poured into it. I'm telling you, I've went through so many changes playing like cards like Rankle, trying to get in with all sorts of different Skull Raid. I was trying to do anything and everything to try to work something in with a mono black Berserker, because I had a really good Orzhov pile that was really fantastic with the Bloodsky Berserker, but it was time to build something just in the mono black colors. Let's just say I was put to the test. Someone would give me this test. Could I make a good mono black Berserker deck? We have to give up our Berserker here because we need to find land. It's very important that we find land right now. And I have to say, I didn't play this game very well. I definitely could have went with the acquisitions expert here instead of playing out the Bloodsky. And I was just leaving that to hang to the apparition. But they actually they end up not taking the Berserker, which was really interesting. They end up trying to beef up their giant killer. It was really interesting and odd. I thought. I don't think they're too familiar with the Bloodsky Berserker, what it does. So they just basically waste their turn playing a giant killer and equipping it. And then we're going to make them discard a card. And they're going to give us an apparition. So there goes one of those, and now we're going to beef up our Bloodsky Berserker. And go ahead and come in for 3. So like I said, like, the triggers are so important with the Bloodsky Berserker. I only play one call, the Death Dweller, and you can see how it kind of interferes a little bit using the triggers, but it is definitely a necessary card to get back some key components. Especially like the Archfiend Vessel and just any other creature that combos with that. So yeah, they've just been spending their turns like so far just comboing like a creature and equipping it. So they're going to play the Halvar. And I get a trigger again. And I get to weaken the Halvar. It's a very good card. I like that Halvar. I think it's a good addition to the mono white, to double strike. I think the best form of the Halvar deck I've seen is definitely on the aggro side. Definitely wants to play like Clarion Spirit and the 3/1 Indestructible. I don't know, I don't play mono white very often, so I forgot to name that card. So it's a 3/3 now with flying. So my Berserker is at a 5/5. I just need a 2-turn spell, and I will I'll have victory. So it's a good top for us. We get to weaken up the Halvar again. It doesn't really matter. And then we're just going to go to play our second spell. And get them all. That was kind of a rough game, but we still got the victory. That's what you like to see, is when even when you don't play the best, your deck still wins. That's a really good sign that you're playing a really solid deck. So you can see we're climbing the tier very easily now. I'd probably say this deck prior to this was definitely on the lower winning rate, probably like 40%. I think you could definitely run like a 70% win rate on this deck. I think you're definitely going to win most of the matches that you play. So like some analysis on the deck, some of the sort of the things that you get away with playing black is your graveyard. You can build a graveyard with cards like Mire Triton. And the cards that you've already played, like a Dead Weight, if you successfully cast it and kill something, it goes to your graveyard, and you can just get those enchantments back with Luris. So it's like you're getting multiple copies. That's why you don't have to play so many copies of those cards. I play, I think, 2 Dead Weights in this deck, and 1 Mire's Grasp. So the reason it is basically I can find them with the Mire Triton, and I can also replay them with Luris. So they get replay value. So this deck we were going against Sultai Ultimatum, and they timed out right here. This would have been a good match, I think, though. I'm pretty sure they timed out. It looked like they were tapping their cards later in the game. There's no way they could have just been stuck on 1 land now. They would never keep that kind of opening. So I think they just disconnected. But you can see we had like a really hot start here. Sultai Ultimatum doesn't play too much spot removal. Sometimes they might play Eliminate. Sometimes they might play Heartless Act. But usually their removal is through the Binding of the Old Gods and Extinction Event and Elspeth's Nightmare. Those are kind of their main forms of removal. But I've definitely seen them play like Heartless Act too and Eliminate. So even if they were playing right now on turn 2, usually they go for like a Omen of the Sea or Wolf Willow Haven. So you can see that we're definitely going to be hitting for a good amount of damage here, even just on turn 2, or turn 3, sorry. We're going to get our trigger from the Mire Triton, and we're going to get the Archfiend Vessel going. I mean, there's not many other setups to hit before, like the other than like I could think like maybe mono red, you know, by turn 2 they can be hit for about 4 or 5. Usually turn 3 is their setup for Annex. Turn 4 they usually win the game with Embercleave if they have it. It's kind of doesn't really make sense. Actually, it's not really a very even battle. So we're pretty much set up pretty well. You can see for the Sultai Ultimatum deck, that's likely going to be our biggest obstacle. Especially when we draw like our 1 Mire's Grasp and one of our dead weights in our hand with another piece of removal, and there's no targets to hit, that's going to be hard for our Bloodsky Berserker to go. But you can see for mono white, if we were playing mono white, that opening is going to be absolutely devastating for them. And then I'll have Lurrus on the back end. Alright, no 1 mana plays. It's fine. We have lots of cards to pivot to see what they're playing. Okay, so this is a trickery deck. It's fine. Alright, so they whiff. They don't scoop, so we're gonna go back in. We're gonna remorse their hand and see what's going on, why they didn't scoop. Usually they scoop after that. Alright, so we'll just get the Vorinclex because that's the closest thing that they'll be able to play next. So they're pretty much, need to top deck like 2 specific cards, so they're not in a good way right now at all. We're gonna get our Bloodsky Berserker going, I think, first. Possibly the Mire Triton. But we want to kill them, so we'll get the Bloodsky Berserker going. So they're just having, they have to top deck a Tybalt Trickery and like a mana spell that they can counter. So we're in pretty good shape here. Alright, now they're just going to have to discard some cards. Acquisition Expert's in there. I think that was like, this card has been so good. Like so key. The Acquisition Expert has been really awesome for this deck. I really like it more than the Kitesail Freebooter for the Sultai Ultimatum decks, because the Kitesail Freebooter, it just dies to removal, and you don't want to just be taking a binding of the Old Gods when they can just, you know, have another sweeper that they have coming up later on, the Shadow's Verdict. Or of course, if you want to take an ultimatum, they just get it back. Whereas if you play Acquisition Experts, if I have those going off and then I have Lurrus to bring them back, I can keep putting pressure on. And you need mana. You need mana to play Ultimatums. It's kind of sad that that deck is ranked higher than mine. All this deck was definitely like a true patience project. But I'm glad that it's all set. It's really been tested out now, and it's playing really nicely. It should breeze through Platinum. I could probably go through Diamond pretty quickly too. You know, I think Mono Black is just so awesome. Like I started coming back to Magic in the arena. Mono Black was the first deck I played, and I'm definitely like near the full circle. It's definitely changed a lot since I started playing the arena like maybe 2 years ago. Back then they had a Spawn of Mayhem. That was a pretty hot card with the life gain. I had the vampires. It was like the vampire dire mood, and then they had the also the vampire that was like a, I think it was like a 2/3 flyer that you put counters on it if you gain life. Forgot what the name of that card was, but it was pretty cool. Those were pretty cool mono black days. Spawn of Mayhem. It's just absurd. 4/3 flyer for like 3 mana. It's just crazy. We had to really work for this game, I'm telling you. This deck, watch them. The only card I was thinking about right now was a Fabled Passage. I thought like, if they really find a Fabled Passage right now off their top deck, I'll probably like destroy something. And look what it is. A Fabled freaking Passage to play a Bone Crusher and get a card. It was obnoxious. It was absolutely obnoxious. They were dead. They were like, well, I wasn't too hot either, to be honest. I wasn't looking so good. But I mean, like, at least I'd have had a chance. And now they just have like really nice mana and a good amount of cards now. So I decided at this point I'm gonna get my demons, even though they have a giant killer available that they're showing in their hand. It was time. It was time to bust out the double demon combo. They could actually go ahead and instant speed the one of them right now. So there goes down one. So see what they do on this play now. It's just not looking. And of course, yeah, another one, another giant killer. So they're just top decking like a champion right now. So it's time to buy the Lurrus and take a hit. Lurrus will take this game over. As long as they don't have any more Bone Crushers, we're going to be absolutely fine. And I think I recall when I was playing this game, I was worried about my Lurrus because I saw Bone Crusher in their showdown pile, but that Bone Crusher was in exile, so it didn't have Stomp anymore. And I was concerned about playing my Lurrus out. which was the see, I saw the Bone Crusher. I didn't know if it was in the showdown or not, but I think it was lit up like an adventure card. I just didn't know. So we ended up just going for the Bloodsky Berserker first, just to sort of test the waters out a little bit. And having that replayable dead weight is just so going to be so important for us to like really sort of once they play the Toski, I think it is. Yes. So Toski is indestructible. That's true. But dead weight hits it, and it hits it really hard. It just minuses it, and it dies. This was their big mistake. And they knew I had a Luris, but they still played it for the card, which is really interesting. And I'm gonna get my Bloodsky triggers like almost every turn now, as long as I like keep getting any cards in my deck, literally any of them, other than lands. I'm gonna be able to continue beefing up my Bloodsky Berserker. So they're giant. Their Bone Crusher is getting bigger at this point. But they decide not to go for an attack yet. So Heartless Act can hit one of the Bone Crushers. Can't hit that one. That one has counters on it. They can hit that one. And we're definitely going to take this time to kill off their giant killer. Or I'll just play another. I guess I was thinking, oh, I wanted to defend against the Bone Crusher. Good call, me. So they tap down with the deck. No, don't go in for an attack. Just run into the Bone Crusher. They just now they're looking like they're bloody. Now it's time to kill off the giant killer. And play out the demon. So, like, are we not entertained by this deck? This deck has got it, man. It's got it. It's finally reached the time where it can start to go up in the ladder, and you can see that I went up from stage 1 to another tier in an hour, maybe less, maybe like 30 minutes. So this is it. This is the deck. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.